you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. If you have the same vision as International Horse College, which is to have a world where people safely appreciate, respect and enjoy their horses, and the horses appreciate, respect and enjoy their people, then have a look at their website, internationalhorsecollege.com, registered training organisation 31352. Today's guest is Fiona's Fehlberg. Now, Fiona's been on before. She was on number 187 and she was pretty popular, so she came back again as a listener's choice for number 379. And one thing I particularly liked about Fiona was she said horses are your teachers. So we recognise that we're not out there in the world to teach the horses, but the horses can actually teach us a lot just about ourselves and about how to teach them or how to work with them. Now, how are you today, Fiona?
I'm good, thanks, Glenys. How are you?
Good. Now, Fiona, today you've chosen 10 points for improving competition results. Why that subject in particular?
I guess because I have a lot of pupils that actually go out there and just freak out.
Yes.
They don't set a goal, they don't set their little steps, and they don't actually breathe.
Yep.
Even when they have a lesson, they don't breathe.
Yep.
So, and I know I've been there, I've done that. Many years ago, I did a diploma in sports psychology, and doing that diploma, it was actually really, it was just all my experiences.
Yes.
I just realised it was all my experiences. I've done that before. I've actually gone down the centre line in a dressage test and not been able to feel below my knee.
Yes.
And been really nervous and then gone, oh, my God, which way do I go? And the best thing that I've found was to actually learn to breathe and not just to your rib cage, right down to the base of the belly. And I think I did that because I started Pilates.
Okay.
And that helped with the breathing, and it also helped with the riding as well. It seems to be the only exercise you can do that's going to help you with your core strength for your riding.
Yep.
But breathing, if you start to breathe, and if you can remember to breathe when you're out there, or even if you're just riding somewhere and you may go, oh, my God, I don't know what's going to happen here, the horse is going to freak out at this. Start breathing, the horse will kick in. But not only that, your subconscious kicks in.
Yes.
So if you start to go down the centre line, or you're doing a workout at the show, or you're doing a jump round or a cross-country round or whatever, start breathing and really keep breathing and make sure you practice. Years ago, I used to sit in the car and practice it.
Yep.
Just as I'm driving. Sit at the traffic lights and start breathing so that I knew when I got on my horse and if I went to a competition, I was fine.
Yeah, good.
And that's what I make my pupils do now. I say, come on, breathe. And you can see people, even when you're judging, you go, now, are you breathing? Oh, I don't think so. Okay, breathe.
Yes, and then you say breathe, and all of a sudden there's a deep breath, almost like it's a relief to be able to breathe.
That's right. And how many people do a dressage test, a jump round, a cross-country course, a show workout, and the last part of the workout's the best, or the last part of the test or the round is the best, because they've got, oh, thank God for that, I'm nearly there.
Yes.
And they go, oh, great.
All right, look, I think, well, that's your first tip anyway, but what a good one. What a good one. You know, it's and very important. Yeah. The next one you've got is about making a plan or a goal to achieve. You know, what is it? Are we all going to go out and win every single competition, or do we have a plan or a goal to achieve at that comp?
Well, that's right. And that's the other thing I say to people. Don't go out there and think you're going to win because the horse will say, oh, no, not today.
Yep.
I don't think so. Oh, there's something up there. I'm going to spook at that. I'm not going to be with you. So make a plan and go, okay, right, today what I'd really like to do is to be able to get my transitions right.
Yep.
From walk to trot to canter. canter to trot or canter to walk, whatever it is. Make sure the transitions are okay. Just set those little goals. Okay, I'm going to go down the centre line. I'm going to hold at X, not past X, not before X, at X. Mm-hmm. So, things like that. Or I'm going to do a show workout and I'm not going to make sure my circles or my half circles are equal. Or I'm not going to go through the wrong flags when I do my course.
Yep.
Make sure that you just have those little goals that you can tick off each time you go out there and do your personal best. Don't go out there and say, oh, there's such and such. They're nasty to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to beat them, because it never happens.
Yeah.
It never happens. And the horse will say, no, not today.
Yes.
And it always happens.
And even just to be that little bit better than last time. If you keep going out with a plan to be that little bit better, to do something a little bit better, you'll eventually get there. But not everyone can go out and win every time. Well, no one can go out and win every time. You're going to lead to disappointment. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And the only way you succeed is by failure.
Yes, you learn so much by failing. Yeah.
That's right. If you go out and you fail, so what did I do wrong? And then you can go back and you can practice it. You go back to your coach and you say, listen, I mucked up on this. Yep. I couldn't get the right canter lead. It just wouldn't happen. So you go, okay, what did I learn? Well, wrong transition or wrong aids, whatever.
Yep.
So you go back to your coach and then you go, rightio, I need to work on that.
Yes.
And then you can just get to your top.
Yep.
It's easy to get to the top. It's harder staying there.
Yeah, and you can stay there all the time. You just can't. Yeah. Now, the next thing you've got is your fitness. What have you got to say about that?
Right. Well, with fitness, with you, okay, you go to a competition and you say, oh, yeah, in a month's time I'm going to go to a comp. The horse needs to be fit enough. You've got to put it in the horse float wherever you're going. If you're going to travel half an hour, 10 minutes, an hour, it's still got to stand in that float, and it's still got to be able to then get out of the float, cope with the atmosphere and do whatever you want it to do. Mm-hmm. So that horse needs to be fit. I mean, I work mine 5 to 6 times a week so that they're fit enough to cope with what they have to do and they're trained to be wherever they have to be. And that's the same with the rider. If you go out there and you go, oh, my God, I'm only halfway through this test and I can't keep going. Yeah. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Or round and a jump round. Like if you go around a jump, I mean, that's worse because you're doing more in a jump round. So you need to really be fit and make sure that you can do it.
Yes.
So if you can, what I try and say to my people is if you can even get on just for 10 minutes a day, if that's all you've got, if you've only got half an hour, quickly take up, go for a quick trot round, but just keep your fitness.
Yep.
Because it's really easy to lose it.
Yes.
If you go without riding for a couple of weeks, when you get back on the next time, your legs are weak, your back's gone, or your brain's gone to mush. The brain says yes, and the body says, I don't think so.
And you're not going to enjoy it. If you're not fit and you're struggling with your fitness, you're not enjoying it.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And as you get older, it gets worse, let me tell you.
Yep, tell me about it. Yep. All right. The next point you've got is about coaches and finding a good coach, stick with them, and coach hopping. Talk a little bit about coach hopping because it's not just competition results, but it's training and everything. People, sometimes they're looking for something and instead of just sticking with one coach with what they're doing, they tend to hop around. And as a coach, you can only do so much in a lesson and you can't go and magically fix all the problems in one lesson. All you can do is give people is work out a bit of a structure to take that first step to fixing the problems. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. It's really hard because there's a few people that I know, and there's also people that all of us coaches have had that will go round the circle and then come back to you and you go, oh, for God's sake, then you have to fix what's going on in between. But what it is, people are looking for the quick fix.
Yes.
And they think if they go to this one, to this one, to this one, they'll get there. There's no quick fix. It's just all hard work and it's perseverance. It's just keep going, keep going. Find a coach that you click with, that you get on with, that they're encouraging you to get to where you want to be. Don't go to someone who's always going to put you down and say, oh, no, this is no good, that's no good. You've got to go to someone who's encouraging and who can help you attain whatever it is you want to attain.
Yes.
If you want to win, yes, they'll probably get you there. But it's the little bits in between. You've got to work and work and work hard at the little bits in between. But the coach hopping is so annoying. It's silly because you get totally confused.
It's not good value either. It's not good value for the person who's doing it. They sort of want to jump around a bit, but if they just stuck and paid for 10 lessons with one coach rather than one lesson with each of 10 coaches, it just doesn't make sense.
That's right. Yeah, exactly
just
right.
Skimming the surface, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And really, if you don't get on with the coach that you're with, okay, you might have to chat to them, have a chat and say, listen, I don't think this is working. What can we change something about this? Or if you don't get on with them, find someone you do get on with.
Yep. And
stick with them because they will get you there.
Yes, yes. All right, now saddlery. What have you got to say about saddlery and ready for competitions?
Well, you need to make sure it correctly fits. That's some of the battle because I don't know how we did it in the olden days. We had one saddle and it seemed to fit every horse. You know, we get on and go, right, okay. And if the horse played up, we go, oh, the stupid thing.
Yes, we just beat it up a bit more.
Anything.
That's right, that's right. I don't think we had anywhere near the understanding. We didn't have the research and the background and everything else. And I think whatever we're doing now, I think it'll get better. I think we'll look back in 20 years and say, wow, back then they were doing that.
Yeah.
And things will keep getting better and better for the horse so long as we go in with an open mind and keep going. But yes, keep talking about saddlery. Sorry, I've interrupted you there.
No, that's fine. Just make sure it fits correctly. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's what you need to use for that discipline or that competition. Don't go and make sure you've got to look at the rules because for each thing, I mean, for dressage, for showing, for jumping out, you've got to make sure that you've got the correct bit. Mm-hmm. Yes. And the correct bridle, the correct saddle for whatever you need to do because you can't go in a Western saddle in a dressage competition. Mm-hmm. That's you just don't do it. So make sure that you've gone with your coach and said, okay, what can I use and what can't I use? Because there's a lot of people that you assume will know, but they don't. Yep. And they get to the competition and they've got no idea and you go, oh, gee, I thought you would have known that, but they don't.
Yes.
So make sure you've got the correctly fitting gear is a must because that can make or break the horse sort of thing. Yeah, you can either get through the test or the workout or the show jump round, but you're going to end up with a sore back or something the bridle's too small or something like that or too large and it just doesn't work. So make sure your gear is correctly fitting.
Yes. And part of your gear, that's horse gear, but people gear and people, what do we need there as far as like helmets and?
Well, helmets, gosh, they're hard, aren't they? We all went through that dilemma a couple of years ago where we all had to go out and buy another lot of helmets because the standard changed again, which is really good because the safety aspect of riding is a must because if you go to the emergency ward of a hospital, they say horse riding is one of the highest risk sports around. So correctly fitting helmets, make sure they're standard and make sure they're what you need for your discipline. I don't know how the Western people get away with it with just their felt hats, but obviously they do. But, they're a must. And if you're going to go to a show, make sure your helmet matches your jacket.
Yes.
And make sure it looks the part.
As you say, appropriate for your discipline. Yeah. You're saying about, the caps and like we used to show jump with just caps and caps.
Oh, no. I don't know how most of all of us didn't die.
But caps would fall off. Like you'd have a fall and no chin strap, so your cap would fall off before you hit the ground almost. Mm.
Yeah. You'd have that tiny little bit of elastic under your chin.
Yes.
To keep it on.
Not.
And you think,
or not. Yeah. Okay, so we've got that now. Entries. So talk to us a little bit about entries because, imagine getting to a competition and then saying, oh, you mean you had to nominate last week? I didn't realise that. Or not early enough to put your entry in.
That's correct. And it does happen here with us because, I don't know, I think you might have Nominate as a platform for entry. Yeah, and that's really good. The only thing is you can't go back to the organiser and say, oh, my God, I missed the entry closing time. Can I enter? It's no, you can't. You've got to enter via that. But also make sure if you're in that particular discipline, try and get hold of someone who might be in the know, or social media is a good place because they usually put things on social media. So if you actually look up like, I don't know, whatever show, Hobart Royal, for instance, over here. If you look that up and then say, I need to get the entries in, what time, when does that happen? So it's hard because some of them don't always put it out there for you.
Yes.
They don't always say, oh, such and such is on. So you look and look and look, and then you click into it, and it actually it doesn't say where you enter. So if you do if you look for something, if your coach says, I think you should go to the next competition, then ask them where to go to look.
Yes.
For where you need to go. And we also have protocol days. You know, we have test and tell and, you know, group lessons for dressage, and same with the show jumping. And then you need to go to that specific club, like, for instance, here's Show Jumping South or Dressage South, and then you'll find out when your competition or your protocol day's on, and then you can go, yep, okay, I'll go to that.
Yes, yes. If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com. Okay, now, once you've done your entry, talk to us of the program or the draw.
With your program, make sure that you figure out when you're on. I find, like with the show scene, for instance, it's hard because, A, you don't know how many have entered, and B, it's sometimes a random time. So it might say, oh, we start at 9 o'clock, but actually that's actually started at 15:15. Or they might say, well, such and such is going to be on him. Then they change it around and put something else on, so you actually on earlier than you thought you were. So make sure that you've got that and you're there at least an hour ahead of schedule so that if anything changes, you're okay. I mean, with a lot of the show horses, they need working down, so you need to get there in plenty of time to, you know, get them used to the atmosphere and the side shows and whatever else that might be there. With the dressage, at least you've got a nominated time and you can say, oh, okay, well, I'm on at 12 minutes past 9, so I need to get on at least 8:30, have a walk around, get the gear checked before half an hour before the test, make sure I've got the right gear, make sure your whip's the right length because that's the thing in dressage. Pony whips are shorter than the large horse whips. So make sure that you're there in time so you don't at the last minute go, oh, my God, I've only got 5 minutes and I've got to go in.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I'm not too familiar about show jumping anymore because I don't know if they have draws and stuff like that. But the same deal. Make sure you're there in time.
Yep.
If you have a test or a workout or whatever, learn it in plenty of time. Learn it the week before and go through your mind doing the test, doing the workout perfectly.
Yep.
Not, oh no, it'll muck up here. You visualise doing it perfectly and visualise riding really well.
Your sports psychology background's coming in with your visualisation. I think that's we could probably have a chat about just, you know, the sports psychology and the visualisation and everything as well. I think that's certainly another topic we could talk about. Yeah,
it's really helpful. I visualise a lot.
Yes. So we've got point number 10, and I know these are really just to summarise the whole 10 points for improving competition results, which I think have been really good, really practical, and advice any level. You know, I think you've sort of, you know, you've said, right, we'll think about maybe the students you're teaching, maybe a more beginner, but I think, you know, just that breathe. You've got to remember to breathe. I think that itself is, wow.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which level you're at. If you're just doing it locally or if you're a seasoned competitor, if you're going at the top level, there's always a time when you're going to go,
Yep.
you know, I'm not right, I'm not on the game today.
Yep.
Just breathe.
Yep. And just every time I think every time you step it up a level, you know, every time you go to a bigger competition to what you're ready, you know, even the most seasoned competitor, they go to the Olympics or they go to a big championships and all of a sudden there's a lot riding on it and forget to breathe, and that's just remember to breathe. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. You just got to learn that and then visualise doing everything really well.
Yes. Now, to number 10, what have you got to say before we finish?
Well, when you're there, you breathe, enjoy what you're doing.
Yes.
If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Go back and have a practice at home, but enjoy it. And remember, if you don't do well, what out of that competition or that day could you have done better? What was your biggest problem? Go back to your coach and work through it. And remember, out of failure comes success.
Yeah, very good advice. Fiona, thanks again for chatting to us today. Looking forward to talking to you again some more. I'm sure we could sort of keep talking a lot longer and about a few different topics now, but we'll leave that for another day and hope to talk to you again soon.
Okay, Glenys. Thank you very much for having me on.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed this chat, then please comment, rate and subscribe. If you'd like any changes or recommendations for guests, then please contact us through horsechats.com. And while you're online, have a look at the government-accredited courses at internationalhorsecollege.com. Registered Training Organisation 31352.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.